welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this class we are going to discuss about the one of the important concept called volume. In the last class we have already discussed about the mass and the weight. So in this class we are going to discuss about the volume. What do you mean by volume? Simple. Volume is the amount of space occupied by a substance. What do you mean by volume is the amount of space occupied by the substance. For example, take one glass, take one glass and fill with water. Take a glass, fill with water. How much amount of water cover that glass area is called volume. So in simple way we can tell that what you mean by volume. What you mean by volume is amount of capacity. So one more example. In your house you have the syntax. So you are filling with water. So how much capacity of that syntax? How much capacity of, for example, 1000 liter, 500 liter? That capacity is called volume. Simple way, volume is the amount of space occupied by a substance. Space occupied by a substance is called volume. So this volume also have the unit, SI unit. So generally the SI unit of the volume is meter cube, but this meter cube is not used in the laboratory. In chemistry we are working in the labs. In lab we are using some amount of volume, some amount of solutions to prepare some synthesis. Anything we are going to use in the laboratory. But in the case of laboratory, this meter cube, in the case of laboratory, small volumes are used, not big. This is very big volume. So but in the laboratory we are using small volumes in centimeter cube or deci centimeter cube. So these are the units of the volumes. And we will see one conversation. So 1 liter is equal to how much milliliter? 1000 milliliter, or we can write 1000 centimeter cube. So 1000 centimeter is equal to how much? Deci centimeter is equal to 1 deci centimeter. So this type of conversation will be happens. And one more thing, volume of the liquid can be measured by different devices. I already told that in the laboratory we are using different kinds of devices to determine the volume. For example, burette, pipette, cylindrical measuring, and flask, etc. For example, volumetry flask. So this is the volumetry flask. Here the measuring will be there. We have to fill. We will get a different kind of volumetry flask. For example, 10, 25, 50, like that. We will get different measuring volumetry flask. This one is graduated cylinder. So whenever we want to measure any amount of volume, we will take this graduated cylinder. There will be a numbers will be there here to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. If you want 2 ml, we will fill up to here, like that. This cylinder will be graduated cylinder will be used. And one more is pipette. So this is also one of the laboratory instrument in which we will use in the labs for pouring the solutions, pipetting the solutions. And one more is that burette. So burette, whenever we are going to use any titration, we will use burette. Many times we will fill with KMnO4 solutions. So these are the laboratory instruments which are using to measure the volumes. So simple, volume is the amount of space occupied by a substance. For example, I already discussed glass in which water is a substance. Amount of water occupied in the glass is called volume. Simple, amount of capacity. So then also we discussed about the units. Units, meter cube is a very large volume. So in the laboratory we are using centimeter cube or decimeter cube we are using. And these are the some instrument to use to measure the volume. In the last class we have already discussed about the mass and the volume. So to understand the density, we should know about the mass and the volume. So if you know the mass and the volume, we can easily understand the density. For the density, I will give one example. Like if you take one steel rod and a wooden stick, throw into the river. After throwing, we'll watch that the steel rod get sink into the bottom of that river, whereas the stick remain floating on that water. Why? Because the density of the steel is more compared to that stick. So because of due to the density, it is sink inside the river. This is one of the best example to understand the density. But here I wrote some points regarding the density. Density of the substance is its mass per unit volume. Mass per unit volume. What is meant by density means? Density means mass per unit volume or mass divided by volume. So if you want to calculate the SI unit of density, so we already know that the mass divided by volume. So mass divided by volume means the SI unit of mass and SI unit of volume divided, we get the unit of density. So here, what is the SI unit of mass? We have already studied that the SI unit of mass is kg. And what is the SI unit of volume? What SI unit of volume is meter cube. You can write this also, or you can write this also, kg per meter cube. This is the unit of the density, but this unit is very big, so we have to make it into small. So kg per meter cube unit is very big, so it can be represented as gram per centimeter cube. We can also represent density unit into gram per centimeter cube, where mass is expressed in gram. Here mass is expressed in the gram and the volume is expressed in the centimeter cube. So we can't, this is unit is very big unit. We are going to convert that big unit into small by changing mass expression into the gram and volume is expressed into the centimeter cube. So then we know that one on heating cooling substance, its volume get changed. So for example, one of the best example is ice. When we heat that ice, its volume gets reduced. When we cool that water, when it convert into the ice, that volume will be increased. For example, when we fill the water completely filled and we kept in the freezer, in the fridge, you can observe that the bottle size got increased because due to the cooling effect. When that ice get reduced into the liquid, then the ice volume of that substance like water get changed. This is very important. We have to know that the heating and cooling effect cooling and heating cooling substance on the volume, its effect on the substance. While if you cool or heat, it will affect on the volume. So to get change, hence it is necessary to mention the temperature expressing density. Whenever we express the density, we have to mention the temperature, because due to temperature there will be change in the volume.